Early last year, around February 8th to be precise, around 3 a.m. in the night, we saw heavy presence of a policeman, fully armed, some with uniform and some without uniform or mufti, but are heavily armed with guns, with about 4 Black Marias and with bulldozers, and they start destroying our properties without any previous notice, without any information from any agency. And being a law-abiding citizen, we cry to this same house, and the house asked us to present a letter and present our plea, which we did.
The actual reason for the demolition is yet unclear. The residents say they believe a certain government official who had scores to settle with a traditional leader in the community ordered the demolition.
The claim was that they attacked the workers of NTDA in somewhere else, and they say it's Bale, and Bale affirm it that it's not his boy that actually attacked. It was Olowu family. So let's assume somebody attacked somebody in Ale. They will not come and demolish somebody. They will not come and demolish Ikeja here, Alausa here. What we are asking for is that we want them to return that land back to us. We are not asking for too much. Let them return the land back to us and give us your over this land. That's all. And let them do it before the end of this month. We don't want to be tagging with them before when they campaign.
The residents say they have suffered losses since they were evicted from their homes. Some have even lost their lives.
In this process of land, I lost my husband. As you can see me, I'm mourning. As you can see me now, I even came here with my children. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to go. Please, you people should help us and beg him. Please.
Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tó wà lọ́dọ̀ mi mo kún wọn kiri ni èmi alára inú búkà inú ṣọ́ọ̀bù oníṣọ́ọ̀bù ni mo sùn sí aago 7 àárọ̀ máa ti jí bọ́ta kí ni ká ti gbọ́ kí n má lè jìyà ìyẹn ni mo ṣe ralẹ̀ mo ṣe kọ́lé kàn ṣàánú wa torí Ọlọ́run.
Efforts to reach the appropriate government officials proved abortive. However, the aggrieved residents say they will remain at the gate of the Lagos State Government Office until they hear from the representative of the governor.
It's a beautiful day to you, our lovely and smart real estate investors, both at home and also in diaspora. I hope you all are doing well today. Of course, the video you just saw are the residents of Okeogun, Kayitoro, and of course, Ayetoro community area of IBEJU, LEKKI. Their structures, their buildings were, of course, demolished a few months ago by the Lagos State government. And of course, we sincerely hope a lasting solution will be given to them. And of course, I hope they get compensated for that. Okay, in case you're coming across this channel for the first time, this is Property Matters. This is where we discuss everything about real estate, whether you're buying, you're selling, you want to know more about title perfection, you want to know more about title verification, you want us to give you a detailed analysis or a profile check of a developer, you want to know if this developer can provide value. This is what we've done. We've done an extensive playlist on the IBEJU LEKKI. We've done an extensive playlist on LEKKI. We've done an extensive playlist on Shangote. We've done an extensive playlist on title verification. Every other thing that has to do with real estate has been adequately discussed on this channel. So in case you're coming across the channel for the first time, you are the right place. I want to say a big congratulations for finding this YouTube channel. Do us a favor, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to this channel, and of course, I've always been saying, share this video with someone. This video will definitely help someone not to make a terrible real estate investment. So today we're going to continue from our previous episode on how to prevent future demolition of properties. Okay, so today we're going to continue from there, and we're going to be giving some practical steps and of course things you need to do, strategies you need to implement before you buy a property, and of course before you start erecting. Okay, once again, if you're coming across this channel for the first time, subscribe to this channel, share this video, like, give us a thumbs up. When you do that, it gives us, of course, an encouragement to do more. Okay, so let's quickly go to today's topic. First, today's topic is going to be brief, and of course, ensure you watch till the end. Okay, all right. So we've been talking about demolition for some past weeks right now, and of course, we've give some insightful, education on some of the things you need to know. Sorry, pardon me for that. So we've done some insightful education on what you need to do. We've talked about title verification. Of course, we did an extensive analysis on that. Of course, in case you didn't see that, of course, you can check. Make sure you subscribe. Check our other playlists. So today I'm going to be. I intend to continue from there. Okay, and today I'm going to give you some of the things you need to do. Now, how do you avoid future demolition if you don't want to be affected? What are those things that you need to do? Number one, if you are buying a landed property, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Never you build on a property that you have not perfected the title. Okay, that's the very first thing. Perfect your title first before you build. Okay, now, and if you're buying a property, you also need to do what we call an extensive investigation. Investigation in the sense that, are we going to be having a road project there? Are we going to be having a drainage system there? Are we going to be having other facilities like cemetery? Of course, you know, when I was explaining it in the last video, I told you people that you don't know if a place is, if a project will be coming there. Like for instance, now the reason why the Okeogun community, why some places were marked for demolition basically is that there's going to be an international airport within that Elenogbe axis. Okay, and of course, I told you recently that we went there to conduct a thorough due diligence on all the landed property within that axis, and we found out that 70% of all those lands there are structured for the international airport. In fact, we found out that over 14,000 hectares of land have been reserved by government for those projects. Now, the question is, are people going there to sell properties? Are people going to places that government have reserved to sell property? The answer is obvious, yes. There are a lot of developers selling those places, and of course, like I said, it's a game of it's a win-win. They make money, you will have to face the problem that if peradventure you fall into that. So after you have, you know, ensure that the title is perfect, then you also need to confirm, okay, if there are future projects coming to that axis. Because if it's going to be a road project, the tendency that government will take some places is very, very high. If you're going to be having like the Elenogbe community I mentioned, if there's going to be an international airport there, of course, government will take some places. And that was why some people, and it's not as if government have even started, they had the intention of starting that international airport maybe next month. No, they just, what they do basically is that they clear road first before they start. So the very first thing you need to do is that ensure that the title is perfect before you build. Then the second thing is that ensure that there are no projects. So when there's a project right now, what you will now do is that you need to ensure that your property is not sitting very too on that project, or sitting on maybe very few minutes away from the project. There's a way your project should be structured that is not hindering those projects. Okay, it's not like a barrier to what government wants to do. So as long as the property title is perfect and it is not, you know, an hindrance to what government wants to do, such property will not be demolished. Okay, so you need to understand that very well. Now, the next thing you need to do basically is that if you want to avoid future demolition, the next thing you need to do is that for every building, you must get what we call a building approval. A lot of people are building in Lagos and they don't have approval, which is like, in fact, building and not getting approval from government is like you're using your own hand to invite trouble. Because, you know, I've said this several times that government can be so harsh when it comes to building approval. Of course, when you look at the recent cases of property collapse, in fact, there was one at Mushin, or many of us are familiar with one that happened at Ikorodu. I mean, I said Ikorodu, at Ikoyi, Gerald Road, where a lot of property worth millions of naira were demolished, and a lot of lives, you know, were lost. So Lagos State government is so keen in building approval. And of course, if you don't have a building approval, my brother, my sister, if government have not granted, you don't start building. Government most times can be very, they can make drastic harsh decisions. So you must seek building approval from government before you start building. It's very important. So once you have sought a good building approval, and of course you can start building, you will not be affected. Then if you are buying projects, if you're buying apartments in IBEJU, LEKKI, then you need to seek for copies of those building approval. You need to see that they have been granted, so that they won't be further, you know, when demolition is happening within that axis, you will not, you know, be affected. So these are some of the things you need to put into consideration. Then another thing you should also observe basically are the basic landmarks. Now, when you have been to some IBEJU, I've been to some IBEJU LEKKI communities, and of course, what we have there basically is not commendable. I've seen where someone built his house, okay, beside a canal. That is totally wrong. Totally wrong. You see, I've said this several times that when you build on facilities like canal, if your structure is very close to the road and you are not observing the normal setback given by Lagos, of course, the person is inviting trouble for his or herself. So you need to ensure that you observe the normal setbacks, okay? Like for instance, for some of us who have beachfront properties, if it's a beachfront, the normal setback is 150 square meters from the beach. And of course, when you calculate that, you notice that that is very much. That's like half plot of land, quarter plot of land. In some cases, it's 300. In some cases, it's 1,000, depending on the location. So you need to understand this number of setbacks for most especially those building on waterfront, okay, whether it is lagoon, whether it is beach. Of course, you have to observe that required number of setbacks so that when you build, when government comes for demolition, your structures will be will be observed. So we've talked about title perfection, we've talked about observing normal setback from the road, from the beach, and also from the lagoon. So these are some of the things that you also need to do. Then finally, like I said, one of the things you also need to ensure to avoid building demolition by Lagos State government is that you must buy from the right source. You must buy from the right source. I've always emphasized that, okay? And buying from the right source is beyond you just talking to any Omonile, or you're talking to an inexperienced real estate personnel who doesn't understand the industry, who doesn't understand government policies, who doesn't understand title perfection, who doesn't understand how to get building approval. So these are some of the things you need to put into consideration whenever you're dealing with real estate. Then you also need to understand government plan for that area, okay? You need to understand government plan for that area, what government intend to do. Like for instance, there are some places that are GRE. So if you're buying into a GRE, the way it is structured in Lagos State basically is that if it is government residential area, if government is not selling that property directly, despite the fact that it's a GRE, if government are not selling that place directly by themselves, then they might have designated some companies under their supervision to sell. Okay, so if you're buying from all those areas like that, you need to understand who to approach, who to buy, and where to pay to. And of course, if they're allocating, then you also need to ensure that your allocation, okay, is done within that scheme. Okay, you need to understand very well that when you go to site, it is very hard for you to to distinguish a committed property from, okay, a free property. So, and most times I've said that the only way you can unravel that basically is to carry out what we call a thorough due diligence, okay? So if you're buying into a government residential scheme, you need to know who is selling. You need to confirm if they have the legal right to do so. Then they also need to confirm that they are allocating you within that scheme. Then if you're buying from a real estate company, and of course you're buying to build, also ensure that, like I said, I'm still going to emphasize on it again, ensure that the title is perfect, okay? Anything from excision or an excision that is yet to be gazetted, or gazette from C of O, and let's say governor's consent. You see, those three titles are perfect for building, okay? In fact, when you even take your building approval to Lagos State, they will approve it like easily, of course, as long as you have observed some laid down rules and regulations for the building approval. Yeah, so so I've seen people who have built on property like excision, gazetted excision, okay? I've seen people who are building on gazetted excision. I've seen people who have built on C of O. Of course, you can build on gazette excision, you can build on C of O, you can build on governor's consent. You see those three titles, they are very good for building. So if your title does not fall within that thing, ensure you get any of this title before before you start building. And after that, if you're buying from a real estate company and you are being told that a property has a particular title, please, my people, my brother, my sister, my mother, both in Obodo Imbo and in Nigeria, ensure you pay off your statutory fees on time, so that when they are doing allocation, you will be allocated in within the title. I've told you guys several times that when a developer tells you a land has a C of O, in most cases, you will find out that the C of O may not cover the entire plot of land. From experience, the Gazette may not cover the entire plot of land. So the title document may not cover the entire plot of land, but there might be some part of them that the title is covering. So what you can do to protect yourself basically is that you pay up your statutory fees on time, so that they can allocate you within that title. Okay, so once you're allocated within that title and the title is perfect, of course you don't need to worry about demolition. Government will definitely not disturb you if all these measures that we've explained are put into consideration. I hope you found value. I want to say a very big thank you for everybody that's following this channel. And of course, in case you're coming across this channel for the first time, do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you very much. See you in my next video. God bless you and have a nice day. Bye.